There have been a myriad of changes made to Dead by Daylight's maps over the years, but there has been one subtle change that has been slowly growing and spreading from map to map. This gradual change is not related to any functional or balance changes, but rather a cosmetic change, a perplexing and inconsistent one at that. The slow growing change I'm referring to is the increase in yellow taped window vaults. What is a yellow taped window vault? Essentially, it's any standard window vault that has a yellow tape or cloth draped over it. I refer to these window vaults as being yellow taped, as the origin of this type of vault derives from the first Resident Evil chapter back in 2021. In the RPD maps, every window vault is wrapped in yellow. This serves as a reference to the Resident Evil games, more so the modern ones, as they use yellow in the forms of paint or tape to help showcase interactables and other objectives. The best example of this exists in the Resident Evil 2 remake in the lower part of the main hall of RPD, where there's a yellow tape covering a switch. Activating this switch is a key objective that allows you to enter the reception, but to make the objective easier to locate, it's wrapped in a bright color. This switch and the leftover tape is visible in DBD's version of RPD. So in short, with window vaults being one of the few interactables for survivors, having the RPD window vaults wrapped in yellow functions as a great reference to the Resident Evil games. Now at first glance, the introduction of yellow taped window vaults appears like a simple detail and an easy cosmetic change for a Resident Evil map. However, after the release of the first Resident Evil chapter, these yellow taped window vaults have gradually spread to other maps. For example, the majority of new maps and realms post RPD contain only yellow taped window vaults. The Forsaken Boneyard realm is the only new realm post-RPD that contains 0 yellow window vaults. Here's where it gets fascinating. These yellow windows have spread to some older maps and realms that were released before RPD. However, the most puzzling thing about all of this is that these yellow window vaults appear to have spread sporadically with little to no rhyme or reason. There are some loose patterns with at least some of the maps, but then others leave me very perplexed. And before proceeding any further, I want to include a note. Unless I specifically mention a map or a realm having yellow window vaults, it's safe to assume that any other map or realm does not contain yellow window vaults. I did my best to thoroughly check every map, but it is possible I could have missed a yellow window somewhere. Keeping that note in mind, let's use 2021, the release year of the original RPD map, as a data point to help establish a timeline for when the yellow taped window vaults were introduced. It's no coincidence that the majority of new maps and realms released post-RPD contain exclusively yellow window vaults. The Forsaken Boneyard realm is the only exception to that pattern, but it can be easily explained. This realm was released about 6 months after RPD, and thus was likely in development alongside RPD around the same time. Because of this, it's likely that the assets used to develop the Forsaken Boneyard realm did not include anything from RPD. The map creation assets were probably not updated until after the Boneyard realm was finalized, and thus the yellow taped window vaults were then included as development assets for future map development, adjustments, and reworks. The only visible proof to back up this entire theory is that the newest map from the Boneyard realm, Dead Sands, was introduced in early 2025 with 0 yellow window vaults. Now with all of that information in mind, here are some maps that have yellow window vaults where they can be easily explained. Shelter Woods only has yellow window vaults at the main building. The main building was added in 2023. Haddonfield has exclusively all yellow window vaults, and it received a full map overhaul from head to toe in 2022. And as a special note, while both Borgo maps have pretty much all yellow window vaults, the original version of Shattered Square in 2022, before the lighting rework, had blue taped window vaults. The blue was replaced with yellow at the time of the rework, which took place in 2024. Then there's maps that can sort of be explained, but I'm not entirely sure when or why exactly yellow vaults started to appear. Both Asylum maps have yellow window vaults across all maze tiles, with the exception of Z-walls, and occasionally with some classic jungle gyms. Additionally, only the Chapel map can spawn yellow window vaults in its main building. However, not every main building window has the yellow tape. The Asylum realm received a visual overhaul back in 2021. Both of the Swamp maps have yellow window vaults at maze tiles only. However, the Pier window vaults did not have yellow tape on them as of the 9.2 patch, so this change happened very recently. Additionally, the Swamp map has not received any visual rework. So why exactly the maze tiles ever started spawning with yellow tape is a question still left to be answered. Midwich has all window vaults spawn with yellow tape, except for any window vaults that spawn in classrooms. This map was released prior to RPD, and I'm not sure when these vaults would have been changed. Now finally, there's the maps that have the most random yellow taped vaults that I have basically zero explanation for. Larry's has a yellow window vault in the library. The rest of the map is normal. Ormond Resort has a yellow window vault in the main building. The rest of the map is normal. Temple of Purgation has a yellow window vault in the main building. And again, the rest of the map is normal. Hawkins has a yellow window vault on the second floor in one of these small rooms, and the rest of the map is normal. So now with all this yellow taped window information in mind, what does this all mean? In my humble opinion, the introduction of the yellow taped window vault was a fun nod for the Resident Evil map, but since its introduction, this window vault has become a bewildering staple for the map design process. While the yellow vaults don't functionally change anything, they do leave some lingering questions, like why does every new map or tile rework need to include yellow window vaults? I struggle to conclude whether the reasoning behind it all derives from a place of intention, laziness, or some other element. It's very possible that the devs feel that having more yellow window vaults helps players, at least newer ones, when navigating maps, but if that's the case, why aren't yellow windows universal? Outside of the newest maps and realms, there is a clear inconsistency with windows on older maps. There's very little, if not zero, consideration for overall map design, cosmetically speaking, when adding any yellow window vaults on older maps. Furthermore, having only select window vaults covered in yellow while leaving the other vaults on the map or in the same main structure with a standard appearance simply just doesn't look good. It all just seems random and out of place. Maybe the window vaults in question are just the result of some sort of bug. The classic DBD answer for most problems, right? While normally I'd feel inclined to agree, the yellow vaults on some maps feel specific, like Swamp and Asylum having every maze tile spawn yellow window vaults. And while the appearance and overall consistency of yellow vaults and how they flow with the rest of a map's design is a very subjective opinion, I must admit that I'm not a huge fan of having yellow window vaults everywhere. This game went how many years without having window vaults highlighted, and now all of a sudden every new map has to have these? Did window vaults all of a sudden become difficult to see? I didn't realize that because DBD got 2 Resident Evil chapters, that meant DBD was forced to make every window vault yellow as some sort of compromise. And I love the Resident Evil games. I'm not trying to debate the idea of those games having yellow interactables. I just struggle to understand why DBD feels the need to copy a formula from Resident Evil. The only good news from all of this is that with the exception of Shelter Woods, the original realms remain untouched. And as long as the original realms contain 0 yellow taped window vaults, then I'm all good. But still, the erratic way yellow vaults have been plastered on some maps is strange and uninspired. Here's to hoping that one day some sort of rework will be given to these yellow taped window vaults that have spread outside of RPD. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of DBD's obsession with yellow taped window vaults. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe and leave a like. I thoroughly enjoy analyzing things related to DBD, Pokemon, and more, so be on the lookout for more videos soon. That's all I have for now though. Thanks for watching.